we're going to preemptively cover the weather. Why are we doing the weather? Well, because this winter storm appears poised to smack much of this nation upside the head. That, I'm told, is a technical weather term, smack upside the head. Heavy snow, freezing rain, ice, high winds, sub-freezing temperatures, all are forecast. Of course, some states are better equipped to deal with this than others. Our concerns tonight center on Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, where snow mixing with freezing rain could down power lines and plunge cities and towns into darkness and danger. 11 states in total are bracing for what amounts to a prolonged ice storm. Such events not only threaten power, but make any driving and even walking treacherous. Because weather projections are, by their very nature, imprecise, many cities are girding for the worst. Shreveport, Nashville, Atlanta, Spartanburg, Charlotte, Raleigh, and Richmond, just to name a few. Now, for anyone in the storm's path, here is what I want you to listen and monitor for: the issuance in your area of a winter storm warning or an ice storm warning. Some places, I'm sad to say, will get both of those warnings, and that could mean very harsh conditions ahead. One of the biggest complicating factors: sub-freezing temperatures are expected to linger across this storm's path for days, delaying not only the thaw, but complicating any effort to restore power if it is lost. In that regard, you might remember in 2021 in Texas, a winter storm knocked out power to 4.5 million residents and businesses. At least 246 people died. Meteorologists are comparing this storm to that Texas storm. Related, Duke Energy has already warned its 3.8 million customers in North Carolina and South Carolina to expect multi-day outages. States of emergency have already been declared in many states, including the Carolinas, Georgia, and Virginia. The Federal Department of Energy has ordered grid operators to provide currently unused backup power to data centers, homes, and businesses should the storm knock out principal power sources. We begin tonight with our Nicole Valdes, who is in Nashville, Tennessee. Nicole, what's the preparation there look like?
Major, good to be with you. We know whether we get the snow or we get the ice, this is going to be a dangerous situation for cities like Nashville, but not just Nashville. We're talking about Dallas, Oklahoma City, Atlanta, Charlotte. These are major cities and major travel hubs where we are going to see the impacts of this storm pack a punch. In terms of preparation, well, the good news is a lot of these cities say we've had time this week to get our crews together and to get a plan in place to try to be as best prepared as we can be and best respond once that snow and that ice starts to move in. In Music City, just to give you an example, we've had crews and snowplow drivers driving for the last 2 days, pre-treating roads. They put down what's a chemical mixture. It's called brine. The goal of that is it'll actually try to heat up the asphalt. So as that snow and that ice falls, hopefully they can try to prevent as much of it as they can from sticking to the ground, because they say that could be the most dangerous situation of all, is some of these roads and freeways literally turning into an ice rink. It is not going to be safe if that happens for anyone, no matter what kind of car you've got, whether it's four-wheel drive or not, to be driving on those roads. They still know they may see those emergency calls come in, and they know they've got to make those paths as safe as possible for ambulance drivers, for their state troopers who are going to be out trying to help people who may still have to leave their homes. Even though if you ask anybody here, they're going to say if you have to leave or if you don't have to leave, just please don't. Major.
If you don't have to leave, stay home, and municipalities in this entire storm's path trying as best they can to plan ahead. Nicole Valdes from Nashville, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. Here with me now in the Conversation Corner, the director of the National Weather Service, Ken Graham. Ken, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. This is a big one. We should take this seriously, yes?
Absolutely. This is a big one. I mean, think about it. We have watches and warnings at the National Weather Service stretching 2,000 miles from New Mexico all the way to New England. This is a big storm.
How have you been preparing in terms of understanding what the storm could do? I understand you've had planes in the Pacific, planes in the Gulf of Mexico, everywhere.
Yeah, we have. And to get an idea of the environment, this is a three-pronged system. So you got to have the cold air in place. So we're watching the cold air come in from Canada. It's moving into the area as we speak. People had not too bad of temperatures the last couple of days. They're going downhill real quick. And you can even feel it even locally here in Washington. You go outside compared to this morning. It's colder. So the cold air is coming in. It's going to be in place. The second part of it is a low pressure developing out in the Pacific near Baja. So we sent a plane out there to gauge how strong is it, what the strength of it's going to be, and really get an idea of the data into the models to get it into where the path is going to be, because it makes a difference in who gets rain, who gets snow, who gets ice. And the other part of it is the moisture from the Gulf of America. So believe it or not, about 10 to 12,000 feet is a warm area of moisture coming out of the Gulf. The snow melts, it goes through that warm area, melts through there, and then refreezes on the ground. All those things, we needed to get planes to get the data, get into the models to get a good forecast.
Lots of focus in this conversation always tends towards snow. I'm a bit more fixated on ice.
Ice is deadly. Look, these systems, historically, the ice can cause power outages. That cause issues with transportation. It causes issues with trees coming down. It's absolutely deadly. The ice is absolutely the big thing to fear. And you think about it, it only takes about a quarter inch of ice to start knocking down trees and knocking down power lines. And we're talking some areas between a half inch to an inch of that ice. That's devastating for some areas. So not everyone will get it, but the areas that get that full half inch to an inch, it's going to be devastating.
And as I mentioned in the opening, the projection is for sub-freezing temperatures for days after the storm. So even after the storm technically ends, there will be problems.
There really will, because if you think about this air mass, 50 below zero wind chill factors for the upper Midwest and 0 degree wind chills all the way to the Gulf Coast. So you think about the cold temperatures reaching all the way to the Gulf. Any areas that get that ice, it's not going away anytime soon. So just because all this precipitation is going to be out of here by Monday, some areas are going to deal with this ice on the ground for a week after that. And so some of the power outages could last that long as well.
So that could mean flight delays, flight cancellation, school buses not being able to move. Anyone who's dealing with responding in terms of police or fire, they're going to be slowed down. Just a lot of things are going to get locked up, if I hear you correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're really keying in on preparedness, because there's always these debates. It's like this model, that model. The forecast hasn't changed more than 40 or 50 miles. So it's not about those small differences. It's about if this is going to happen. So if you think about the impacts that's coming. So the preparedness is going to be everything. Having the food that you need, having the water that you need. And, we talked before going on the air about generators. We're selling them out.
Make sure you know how to use it.
Everybody's buying them up, and you're looking at your manual. How do I start this thing? Well, look, you're learning how to do it, but you need to know the one important thing. Keep it outside. Don't put that generator in the house, because I was Hurricane Center director, and I remember big hurricanes where we lost more people to improper use of generators than we even did storm surge. So please, 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 please use that generator safe.
Use it safe. Read the manual. Ken Graham, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. CBS News New York meteorologist Scott Padgett joins me now with the latest. Scott, take it away.
Major, we're looking at this storm that's a slow mover making its way from the southwest to the north and the east. Look at this, 182 million plus people under winter weather alerts, winter storm warnings from stretching down through parts of New Mexico all the way through parts of the north and east. And on top of that, we're going to be seeing some snow and ice in combination. So as you take a look at the futurecast, here we are Saturday morning. By the time we go into Saturday night, it is snow through parts of the Ohio River Valley, ice from the Carolinas all the way down through the southern plains. And this storm is not done. It will continue to work its way north and east, spreading the ice, spreading the snow. On top of that, some gusty winds as well. So we're going to see that even by Sunday evening. It is the rain. It is the snow and the ice through parts of the mid-Atlantic, snow through parts of the north and the east as that system will continue to work its way offshore. So let's talk about the ice first. Now, remember this, 1/10 of an inch of ice can bring down tree limbs or power lines. We're looking at more than that through parts of Texas, possibly up to an inch of ice, all the way through parts of Mississippi, through parts of Georgia, into the Carolinas as well. It will be just travel that can't happen for you. It's going to be treacherous travel out there. On top of that, we're talking a lot of snow. As this storm makes its way from parts of the southern plains to the northeast, there could be some spots of more than 18 inches of snow in Kentucky, stretching to Arkansas into Oklahoma. This pink cover that you see there, that's more than 12 inches of snow. Let's break down some of the major cities. Baltimore, 10 to 14 inches. Boston, 12 to 18. New York City, 10 to 18. And then Philly and D.C., 10 to 14 inches of snow. And then the other story is the cold air that is in place. That brutal cold feels like temperatures possibly 40 below to 50 below expected. You can see extreme cold watches and warnings in place. So major as everyone's trying to clean up after this ice and the snow. It's going to be the dangerous cold that they're still dealing with.
Dangerous cold and many other conditions. Scott Padgett, thank you very much.
No problem.